Hello and how's it going, everyone? It is Skullzi here with the latest Bethesda news, rumors, and speculation. And yeah, I don't have my crazy cheap blue sheet green screen space stuff behind me today. That's because space and time collapsed. No, not necessarily, although it seems like that might be a possibility. Basically, my green screen fell over and magically, literally exploded. I'm not even joking. There wasn't an explosion, but there is damage that makes let me just show you. My green screen fell over and the crossbar magically got ripped in half, dude. It's like Ghost Hulk came by and just ripped it in half, or like a spirit welder came by and said, "Screw you, Skullzi, you don't get a thing anymore." But yeah, it's done, man. This is so stupid. Literally, I have no idea how it splits in half from a gentle fall, but either way, we don't have a green screen today. Sorry, everybody, and I probably won't have another one for a while. They're expensive, but either way, don't worry. I still have a lot of awesome and interesting stuff to talk about today. Now, first of all, this information is about Starfield, which is exciting, right? And it's an official Starfield tweet from Bethesda Game Studios, and this tweet might give us some more information about what we should expect from Starfield's exploration, or more specifically, just the overall inspiration behind Starfield. And when we get a good indication as to what the inspiration behind a game is, that can kind of give us a better idea as to what we should expect from that game. And Bethesda Game Studios tweeted all of this today, and the main purpose behind these tweets was to share what the different inspirations for Starfield are for different people within Bethesda Game Studios. So we're going to break all of these down today. We're going to try to figure out if we can get any more information from any of this, and we're going to learn how to do Ninja Turtle stuff with these at some point during this video as well. But that stuff is going to be very, very quick. It's only going to be like a few frames, so if you want to watch the Ninja Turtle like in martial arts stuff, you have to like really pay attention to the video and pause every few seconds to find it. Ooh. But either way, we're going to begin today's video here on Twitter. Now I have a shotgun. And this is Twitter. This is the website I was talking about. And you can see that as of a couple of hours before the point in time in which I recorded this video, we got these tweets right here. And it says as follows: "What better day than Space Exploration Day to share some of what inspires us about space? See thread," and then they have like a telescope. Okay, that's a telescope. We'd love to hear your stories too. Share them below. And then, what inspires us about space? And this is actually Todd Howard, by the way. They say, and in case you were curious, this is young Todd Howard in the first photo during a visit to Cape Canaveral. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I've never been to cool space places, unfortunately. I grew up super poor, so I didn't get to go to cool things like this. But look at Todd Howard here, man. He looks like he's got those vibes, right? Just all of those Skyrim brain things going on in that head. I bet you this little Todd Howard version of him never would have guessed he would be such a interesting and creative figure when he was adult times. I mean, he's literally creating a space game. He's one of the best RPG developers out there, and this is his origin story, literally right here. And this is kind of this is just a super interesting picture to see of young Todd Howard. I don't think we ever got to see young Todd Howard at all, but Todd Howard unfortunately doesn't give us what he is inspired by in terms of space development, but he really already has done that in previous videos, especially in the Into the Starfield behind the scenes dev diary video. Todd Howard did indeed tell us what inspires him in regards to developing a space game, which is Todd Howard just loves to look up at the stars and just imagine that maybe the answers to all sorts of crazy questions could be up there. He just loves the grand exploration of space, and he's been inspired by a great deal of similar things that we'll be breaking down in these tweets. Now, the first tweet is from Joe Mueller, who is a senior producer, and he says, "My grandfather is a retired colonel from the Air Force who worked with NASA building space shuttle parts, and his stories of complex solutions to human survivability in the most extreme conditions are some of my favorite memories of him growing up." So this is awesome. This is an actual pretty cool memory to have as a child. Like, imagine having a family member who works with the Air Force on like secret NASA projects physics and they tell you all the crazy things that they have to do to get people to be able to actually go into space. That would be pretty awesome as a child and definitely spark your imagination. And this makes me wonder if perhaps we'll be able to definitely build and upgrade our spaceship. We'll have to plan for different scenarios in space, different like emergencies that we'll have to prepare for in order to survive, and just maybe we'll have to kind of come up with different ways in order to explore certain planets if their biomes are very toxic. Maybe we'll have to research, come up with spaceship upgrades or upgrades to our own spacesuits so we can explore these places. But obviously, all these are just from developers talking about what inspires them to work on a space game or create something that's space related. None of this is 100% indicative of what could be in the game, but like I said at the beginning of the video, if people are inspired by these things to the point to where they want to share them with us in a tweet like this, then this stuff probably will influence them a little bit in terms of what they add into the game or what actually will be in the game or what they would like to see in the game. Next up, Chris Rodriguez, lead programmer, and he says, one of my favorite experiences was going to Cape Canaveral to see the place where so many missions to space that I've seen on TV had launched from, and learning about the Apollo missions and getting my favorite toy, an Apollo rocket too. So hey, maybe Chris Rodriguez was at Cape Canaveral at the same time as Todd Howard. That would be pretty awesome. That would be pretty exciting. Small world, right? Two developers as children going to the same place and then growing up to work together on a space game. Crazy, crazy stuff. And this shows us just how much like real world influence that NASA and current space technology will probably have in Starfield. No doubt Starfield is set hundreds of years in the future, which is what they said, but it's still NASA punk, so all of their future technology is evolved from current technology, more or less. Now we have Emil Paduro. We all know this guy. He says, when I was a kid, and this was shortly after I saw Star Wars in a theater, so I was about 7 or 8, my mother got me this amazing illustrated book about spaceships. This book ignited something in my mind. I read it cover to cover and memorized the illustrations. As I grew older, I never forgot that book and what it meant to me. But what I did forget was the title and who wrote and illustrated it. I know how that goes, Emil. I've totally forgotten so many things I wish I can remember. He continues on by saying, I forgot about the title of the book until we started pre-production on Starfield. One of our concept artists had a book on his desk, and it looked incredibly similar. Same art style, same ship designs. It wasn't the same book, but close enough that I was able to look up the creators and find the one that had meant so much to me as a child. And that's amazing. That's awesome. I'm glad Emil got to actually find the answer to his question that he's been wondering about since he was a kid. I have games and books and shows that I remember that I saw or played as a kid, and I can't remember what the heck they were or what the name is or even how to begin to look them up. Even some anime I remember watching in the early 90s, I can't remember what the heck it was called, but parts of it are always in my mind just because of how cool it was. And this is awesome. This is a cool story from Emil, and I just wish I knew what the heck this book was, man. I wish he could share the freaking name of the book so we can look it up and actually have some tangible illustrations to attach to this tweet. But nonetheless, we already have literal concept art for Starfield, so we already have an idea as to kind of low-key what the spaceships and stuff will look like in the game. But I'm sure that they are inspired by whatever this book is, because legit a concept artist at Bethesda Game Studios had this book. Emil, you knew what you were doing when you didn't tell us the name of the book, man. You knew exactly what you were doing. Now, next up we got Jeff Brown, lead level designer in Starfield. This is interesting. Whether it was seeing the moon through a telescope for the first time, a shuttle launch on TV, or an image from the Hubble telescope, there was a point in my early childhood where the realization of how truly small we are shook me to my core. It was an unsettling but exciting feeling. I would let my imagination run wild and pretend I landed my spaceship on a planet no one else has ever been before. The wonder, the excitement, and sense of danger I'd feel while exploring the surface, and then I'd get back on my ship and fly to the next planet and start the journey all over again. Man, I hope Starfield is something like this. I hope Starfield isn't procedural generated complete space exploration, like completely procedural generated like No Man's Sky. I hope there are some of that, or a lot of that, handcrafted Bethesda Game Studios awesomeness in Starfield, and I kind of have the feeling there might be. However, we can't get any of that based off this tweet, but what we can get off this tweet is apparently space exploration will have to be a major focus in Starfield, which the majority of us have already expected. But you can see that he's a lead level designer, so he's probably actually designing places we'll be exploring in the game. So with his statement right here, I have a feeling that this is is going to definitely directly influence what he creates for Starfield. Landing on another planet, the wonder and the mystery of what's here, exploring it for a bit, and then going to the next place, and just continuously having this wonder and excitement as you fly around a universe. I just can't wait for that. It's a Bethesda Game Studios take on that, and that's just amazing. Philip Nelson, senior producer, says humankind is driven by the pursuit of knowledge and conquering the unknown. Space offers us an infinite amount of exciting mysteries to solve. One of these mysteries is why my neighbors are so loud. Is he flying around? Like, what is he even driving? Is that like the freaking moped from Vice City? Is he driving around and delivering pizzas? Alright, let's start over. Philip Nelson, senior producer. Humankind is driven by the pursuit of knowledge and conquering the unknown. Space offers an infinite amount of exciting mysteries to solve, new concepts to decode, and impossible landscapes to explore. Every question we answer brings us one step closer to understanding our universe and possibly discovering things beyond our current comprehension. This is my favorite one, I think, and I'm totally on board with Philip Nelson here, and if they can touch on this aspect in Starfield, that'll make the game be totally set apart from almost any other game like it, and I really hope they can do that. And what he says right here is very similar to what Todd Howard also said in the Into the Starfield Dev Diary video about what inspires him about making a space game, trying to find the answers to questions we have that only open up even more bigger questions. So I'm super hyped for Starfield, man. At first, when I was doing this video, I didn't think that we would get that much like stuff or exciting things from this, and even though they're not just out saying, hey, I worked on so-and-so level that you get to explore, they're basically saying what inspired them to create the levels and things that we'll be exploring in Starfield. Next up, Andrew Scharf, senior producer and also dapper dresser. He says, I find myself transported back to the times when I was a kid flipping through the pages in my book on the solar system, learning about planets and their scale compared to Earth. I remember how blown away I was thinking about how small we are in comparison to what's out there, and it's great to be able to tap into that feeling of discovery again. So right here he's saying that tapping into the feeling of discovery is something that is in Starfield, at least in regards to Andrew Scharf, senior producer. So definitely exploration and discovery and just the wonders and mystery of space exploration so far seem to be the main theme here amongst all these different developers and Bethesda Game Studios employees in regards to what we should take into consideration into what inspired them in Starfield. And that's all of them. These are all the ones that Bethesda has shared so far, unless they just posted some more, which no, they didn't. Okay, yes, these are all the ones, all the awesome and interesting things that Bethesda Game Studios has shared to us from their amazing developers. I wish there were more of these because these are very exciting. I didn't even know today was a National Space Exploration Day or International Space Exploration Day or whatever, but I'm glad that we're getting even small bits and bobbles of Starfield hints about what the inspiration is in regards to the game, because like I said at the beginning of the video, if we can kind of pinpoint what the direct inspiration for these developers were in regards to developing Starfield, then we kind of already know more about the game than we did prior to this engagement. I just wish Emil typed up the name of that book so he could look it up, man. Emil, why didn't you do it? I might actually tweet him real quick and see if he'll tell us what the name. I'm gonna do that actually. I'm gonna tweet Emil. I'm gonna ask him what the name of the book is. If he answers, I'll put it in the video. But I have the feeling he's not gonna answer because he probably would have put it in the original tweet. But yeah, that's all these. Like I said at the beginning of the video, even though we weren't gonna get like any like direct gameplay screenshots or anything like that, we did get some pretty awesome information about what inspires these particular developers in regards to what they put into Starfield. Now, I'll say that again, they're telling us what inspired them about what they want to see in Starfield and what some of them directly put into Starfield. One of these was a level designer, the lead level designer. So obviously, what he says is going to have some kind of merit to what we're going to experience in the game. And I believe that that goes across all these different statements from all these different amazing, talented people. And like I said, at the beginning of this, and hopefully you share the same perspective that I do that I'm about to tell you, at the beginning of all this, I was kind of just like, this isn't going to be anything too crazy in regards to Starfield content, but not only is it awesome and interesting just to hear about their stories, it's even more interesting to know that this stuff definitely has some indication and connection to what we'll see and be playing in the game. But that's going to finish up today's video. As always, if you're hyped for Starfield, if you enjoyed the content, be sure to give a video a thumbs up, subscribe, and turn notifications on. And as always, huge shout out to everyone that went above and beyond to support the channel over on Ko-fi, Patreon, or here on YouTube as an exclusive channel member. If you want to get a permanent feature video shout out, all you gotta do is support the channel on one of these places. It seems like anytime I get ready to post this list, I get a huge influx of new people supporting the channel, but the cap now is tomorrow. Even if you support the channel like literally before my upload tomorrow, I have to just put the list up. So don't worry if you do support the channel before tomorrow and your name isn't on the list that gets added to my video tomorrow. I will add it probably next week. I don't think I'm going to update the list every month. Like I said, I'll update it every week. That way I can still have an up-to-date list for everyone. But like I said, to get a permanent future video shout out, I did have every single one of my videos. All you gotta do is support the channel on Ko-fi, Patreon, or here on YouTube as an exclusive channel member. Links for all this and more down in the description below. And as always, thank you for watching. Be sure to tune in next time when I use mysterious magics to turn this into a shotgun. I feel like I'm a child again, pretending war times.
It just works.